So we join back in with our adventurers after last week. Last part, they had finally got into the Twisted Mangrove, entering in, and with a good few hours to spare, they decided to hang out and have some fun, taking part in the magical potion shots, the dancing and music, and maybe a few games, as well as overhearing some maybe shadier parts of the establishment as well. Before finally seeing flying through the air, entering the space. No, sure what it's called. It's not really a club, but it's like a secret hangout almost.
Which the definitely don't know about.
Yeah, there definitely isn't a secret teacher entrance. But yeah, you see the two people one of the two people you're trying to meet. He's now with somebody different. Which was a half orc.
The
muscle.
That's his name. Cannon.
Yeah, okay. Saves me having to think of a name. But the young student that was helping out Moonshadow Jr. when you were trying to take a little sneak peek at their vehicle. They do see Dante, but don't immediately speak to you. They sort of just pass. And they go to the bar and order a few drinks. And then you would see that they sort of turn and give you like a bit of a nod towards one of the booths.
I'm going to look over towards the others.
Yeah, I'd say so. Eleni, you probably passed Eleni a few times as she sort of stood enjoying the music. The others still sort of lounging around. Volu, for you, very entertainingly, Canda's either drunk or just not looking properly, because he's looked in your direction 3 or 4 times now. And but still the whole time you can see they're really searching the room for something.
Searching really well, clearly. Is there any other Ganassis?
All you mortals look the same. What?
Are there any other Ganassis in here?
Let me just check.
So I don't actually know how common a Ganassi is.
Not very.
Not incredibly, but more common in Vercel than in other places. There is an air Ganassi, so sort of written. So there's a mix of the usual few humans, dwarves, halflings, gnomes. You also notice there is a set of goblin twins that at points in the last 2 hours they've sort of got really loud as they won a game. More than once had a student threatening them for cheating, but just have been laughing and giggling the entire time. A few furbolgs you've noticed, Eleni. Again, not uncommon if obviously you don't know specifically, but you know furbolgs are have innate magic. So if you were searching out children that are potentially gifted for magic, furbolgs and those sorts of races would be. And a few genuine orcs, not just half orcs.
Firstly, me and that Ganassi are going to get on like a house on fire.
They actually seem a little bit reserved from the party. They're sat alone. They're reading a few books and tomes. But yes, they would nod over and they will just head over and sit in the booth. You would notice they pick so in this time, the one to the left of the GIF has opened and people have come and left. But they pick the one furthest from anybody, so it's furthest on the left, away from any of the others.
When in doubt, go left. So I'm going to look over towards Ichi first, primarily, and then I'll look over to anybody else. Anyone who sees me, I'm just gonna give a look over to where they are. Do with that information as you will. I don't know who sees me and who doesn't, to be honest, but
I wouldn't be paying attention because I'd be looking at Kanda and finding it quite funny that they're quite clearly looking for something, but they can't find it. I'd even at some point just do a little bit of telepathy and whisper in them, going, "Look over at the bar," even though I'm like not over there.
Absolute dick. They definitely do. Yeah, every time you whisper, they look in that direction, like trying to search for you.
but yeah, I'm just getting flashbacks of when Ichi had his like voices in his head.
When the dog was talking to him.
That was it. Yeah.
Is the dog with us?
No, we left him.
No,
we
yeah.
left him in
Left him back in the temple.
temple.
Yeah, he's back in the room.
Good boy.
Because it's late. It's late for him.
He's in his crate being trained.
Do I spot Dante?
Yes, your passive will pick up Dante.
Okay, I would sort of nod back to him, but I'm just gonna stay and watch because I don't know these people. I haven't been involved at that point, so
That's fine. To be fair, as you know, things going down, dodgy dealings and that, it's always good to have people in different areas.
yeah. I'm gonna position myself so I can keep an eye, but yeah, not going over.
Charismatic. I'm reasonably charismatic, so let's see where this goes. Cool. I go over and I sit myself down.
Anybody else going with?
Each will like come over, like let the presence be seen, and kind of like sit, like not adjacent, but kind of like more, so we're not necessarily seen together, kind of vibe, like just in case they want to have a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like in case they don't want to be clear. Yeah, like in case they don't want to be clearly seen with this group, each will come over, like let them see that they are there, and then we'll sit like at the bar closest to where they are, but not with them.
Okay.
Just want to know that I'm the only one that can make this deal. There's no one before me who could do a deal like this. It's going to be the deal of the century.
I'm gonna kill you.
Is it a big, beautiful deal?
It's huge.
I'm gonna kill you.
It's the most amazing deal.
Anybody before me didn't know what they were doing.
Are we allowed to do this? We're gonna get cancelled.
I mean,
we don't really have enough people to make that move.
I think we need to stop. There's now a 25% joke tariff on it.
I'm just sick and tired of hearing his voice.
Chris's.
Oh no, yeah, his too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Please, that got me.
Oh, dear.
Okay. So
yeah,
Where were we? Sorry.
So I've sat down.
You sit down. They notice the Ichi as sort of like almost with a little bit of a smirk and a nod of like your muscle for my muscle, and he'll nod to the half orc that will step out of the booth and sort of position a similar distance, not over near Ichi, but just a similar distance. And then they will close the curtain. And Dante, as the curtain closes, it silences, like no sound from outside. Everything goes.
I like it.
Similarly for Ichi inside, you don't see. It's like floor length. There's no cracks, no crevices.
Yeah.
It's sealed. How? I'm still a little confused. How do you even know who I am? What is it exactly you want?
What we require really doesn't need much discussion, and how we know who you are does not matter. Clearly, Dante's voice has changed when he's trying to be like this. But But this is simple. We need 4 medallions of what's it called? There's something of divination.
There were rings, weren't they?
Proof against.
Proof against divination. Common item, I'm aware. But to get 4 of them seeming to be quite irritating. And then the other part, which we also need, is a way of something to seal or sheath a great sword.
Why not just buy a sheath?
Because we don't want unwanted eyes looking at it.
And why not just use the? I mean, yes, it would be hard and a bit difficult to get hold of, but why not just use the main process of the school?
Takes time, and I've been told coming to one who has abilities that garner influence. No. One who wants to do well for himself and make some side money on it to contact. So this is why I'm here. If you know of someone better, I will go there.
You would see a little bit of confliction. I could do it. It is since that little incident that you mentioned. Moonshadow's been up my fucking arse. Whoever ratted out his son gets away with a telling off. I mean, yes, a scolding nonetheless, but all of my business, all of my workings, all of my everything. I'm not sure I could do it at the speed you wanted to, or the price you wanted to.
So, firstly, give me a price. What do you think it would cost?
The amulets, I mean, are you set on amulets?
Ring, amulet, no stud for I care.
They are talking in the 5,000. That is the maybe 3.5 base items alone.
Sidebar, I swear these things will only cost a couple.
They're uncommon, so they are between the 6 and 1,000 range if you buy them straight. So if you imagine 4 of them at 600 would be 2,400. So yes, he is you would and Chris Dante can give me an arcana to see if you would know that there is definitely some add-on.
Do I get any advantages on this?
No, it's just
Don't think so.
straight what you've experienced.
21.
Okay, yeah, I'd say that you don't know the exact, but there's your gut feeling is probably a little higher there. He's putting it at, if you imagine 4 of them at 1,000 instead of 4 of them at the 600 side of the range that they could be in. Do you know what I mean? And obviously it would take me time. The sheath, you throw it on for another 500, but I have never done something like that. I will be upfront about it. I imagine it is just the same sort of enchantment, proof against detection and location, but on a sheath. It would have to fully enclose the weapon.
That or into a pocket dimension of itself, or even just to something that can
That is slightly more expensive, however. Something for unless you can provide the materials, or I do have some need of my own.
Thought this was where this was going. One side can never be just say for what they need from the other, especially as the price of what we're saying, as I understand, has been upped for your own personal gain, which I can respect.
It is more my personal safety. If Alar Moonshadow finds out I am doing business again, I will be expelled from the academy. I cannot stress the importance of even being in here can get me in some shit. I need information.
Go on.
Information that is restricted. I saw who you were with in the quad earlier today. They rode on the chaotic embers, no?
They did.
And if I am not mistaken, they requested knowledge for they were made scholars of the city, yes?
Just raises his eyebrows and looks over, leans back.
I need them to make me some notes from some books that I would otherwise not have access to.
Those books.
They are open to scholars, I have checked, but I am not trusted within the academy.
What are the books?
They definitely weigh you up heavily. Like, you give me an insight, just because you don't have a good enough passive just to glean it. But
Can I say, like, if he's weighing me up, can I say what I'm feeling, and then he can decide what he actually gets from it?
what do you mean? Sorry.
Because you're saying he's weighing me up, so I'm assuming.
No, as in like this is more to see if you're able to see what he's deciding behind the weighing you up, because he's showing you that he's weighing you up, but it's
14. It's not the worst roll on insight, -1.
side. No, I can't remember. I can't remember if I gave you a name for this guy. Like, my brain wants to say something stupid like Gary, but I can't remember if it was.
Gary, it's done.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can it be called Gary Love?
Yeah.
I'll look through the notes and see. But
Gary Love and the other guy's the muscle, so it's together there. Love muscle.
No.
Easily remembered.
Oh.
Thank you very much for that, Liam.
Excuse me?
No, that's
That's worse than Flesh Tunnel.
Been done. Gary Love. Thank you.
wrong.
Yeah, very
I'll
much
take
so.
him anyway.
So they would pull a note out of the pocket and they would slide it over to you.
I'll leave it there for the moment. I'm just waiting for him.
They nod to it. They won't. They're not going to speak it. You get the impression it's written.
I don't need to know the purpose or, like, say, why you need the books, but I presume it would benefit you greatly and potentially help you avoid any issues at maybe Moonshadow would be looking at for you in this. Am I correct?
They're not.
So it is safe to say this information could be at risk of my friends being taken off their scholarly knowledge if they were to look at who looked at these books.
Well, any scholar can look at them.
But any person who gets them out to look at them, it is recorded, is it not?
I do not know. I have never used the scholar section. You guys know that you show your pass to go in. You don't record what books unless you take. And to be fair, you're not allowed to take from the restricted section.
No.
So potentially, if somebody records it, but you don't have to physically, but you would get from their face they genuinely don't know. In the main library, you only record. He would say you only record if you take it out.
So in that case, then I'm going to lean forward and just be like, from my understanding, let me fill you in. They will record whoever's put these books out. Now, there are ways of us being able to avoid that. So, my now question to you then is, what are you offering for this service?
Well, like I said, if you would prefer a monetary route, 4,000 all in for the sheath and the items. If you wished for it to be a bag of holding style, then more like 4,500. Or 1,002 pages copied from these books.
I would do 500 and these 2 pages copied.
Give me
the risk of us being caught in whatever you are planning, just to make your life easier, is
give me a persuasion.
Can I get advantage from, say, like talking, like just how making it? Because if he didn't know the risks in it, then I'm going to make it sound like it's more riskier than he thinks.
In which case, deception, and it's still not advantage because yes, you are playing it that way, and I like it, but it would be a deception then.
Natural 20.
Nice, very good as well. What does that put you on? Because they got total 23.
I think mine's the same actually. Where's deception? Yeah, 23 as well.
And I'm going to say that you clinch it on the nat 20, but the pause is enough to almost get a sweat going.
Because I still haven't even opened up this paper yet. It's just I haven't even touched it.
I suppose so.
Now, there's one more thing that if this is to be a deal, it is a custom from where I am from. We share blood of each other to know that we can't screw each other.
You would just see they like, nah, I'm good, man. If you want to do some crazy blood ritual, that's on your time.
It's worth a go. That's fine. Then after that, after I see him just going, no, I'm just going to laugh at him. Just goes, I wondered where your line was. And then I'm just going to stand up. We will get you the pages. Be ready with our items. And we'll take the bit of paper. Give a moment just to, like, before opening up the curtains, to hear if he's going to say anything else.
No.
Leaves.
Okay. You move out. No, Jesus. 3 perception checks from Kanda and nada. Can't see the inside of his own eyelids.
Is it a he?
Don't.
I thought it was a she for some reason.
No.
To be honest, I feel for Volu would know they more gender fluid. It's a bit
Okay.
bit more
I
shift in
was
the
sure
motion,
you
and
said that the Furbolg disguise was female, but
the disguise was female the first time.
right.
But they wear whatever
No,
disguise is
that's
required
that's
for.
where I'm confused. Yeah.
Yes, no, they were disguised as a female Furbolg the first time. They are in male, but disguised this time.
Okay.
But still, yeah, absolute dog at seeing you today. But you would
I'll
see.
toy with them for a while, and then eventually I'll go up to them and tap them on the shoulder.
Okay, they upon seeing you, they will be like, "Ah, it's in here," and they will like pull you up into the hammock and have it sort of float up away. Tanabori has been trying to get me to speak to you.
I've been trying to speak to Tanabori.
Yes, you need to stop it. There are things going on. She cannot respond. However,
What things are going on? Kanda.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say.
That never held you back before.
True. You remember back, I don't know, maybe time is so funky here. When you were back in the Fae, when you had just done your first cleric healing spell, that was it. We went on that trip to the city, yes, and Tanabori met with a hooded figure that you kept asking about, and I kept distracting you, and you kept asking, and eventually we just sort of had to go on a wander. And as you sort of thinking, you do remember that you sort of went shopping and bought some, and it was almost one of the first times that you'd gone like a food trip, like going around different stalls, trying all the different foods, and like that sort of first time you'd done that, because before then you'd literally lived in a cabin in the wood in the Feywild woods eating whatever Tanabori cooked. Yes, well, that alliance is delicate, and I don't think this is the place, Volu. What if people are listening? They sort of peek out of the thing, out from the hammock. What are you?
Can they do telepathy?
No. Unfortunately not. They will sort of whisper. Did you make a decision about your friends, by the way? Trustworthy? Not trustworthy?
More trustworthy now. We dealt with one of the main issues.
What is the main issue? The possessed one.
Now who's spouting things that
Oh
we
yeah,
shouldn't shout?
shit. This is why it's just better that we don't talk at all, Volu. You know I cannot help myself. But that would explain some things. It would. For Tanabori. There.
I think I may understand what you're saying. I have learned some things from the friend of the friend who's no longer a friend.
Oh, I hate riddles. Shall we get a booth?
I'll do telepathy saying the possessed one.
Mm. There was. Shall we get a booth? And to be honest, if your friends are trustworthy, you could bring
They
them
are.
along. But I will warn you now, Volu, there are some things that I am not allowed to tell you, and no amount of cutesy Volu things will make me tell you. Understand?
We'll
Well,
see.
yes.
And I'll give a twinkle of my eye.
They'll like flip you out. They've lowered it down, but they'll like flip you out of the hammock so that you like land all fours, sort of thing, on the floor.
Okay.
They will have the hammock sort of float up and away before they sort of get out away from you and move over towards the booth.
I won't go over straight away. I will. Are Dante and Ichi out of the curtain?
Looking over, so you would see that Dante's probably meeting back up with Ichi where Ichi was perched. You would see the half orc does go to get back and sort of sit back with the student before they you see that they are actually just getting up and they're like, no, we will go. And they start heading towards the like vine bee doorway to exit.
Okay, I'll go over to meet them.
Okay, I'd say, Eleni, you've probably. So you did lose Volu for a minute there. There was a second where sort of he was on the beanbags and now he's not.
I was probably watching the whole Dante thing and not really paying attention to volume.
But you would now sort of see Volu sort of appear and start heading over that direction, and it does look like Dante's concluded his meeting.
Okay, I would slowly start making my way towards volume. Where's Ichi right now?
Ichi's like by the bar near to where Dante's.
Right, okay.
They're all like converging on each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would head over towards where Volley was. And just say, how long are we staying?
Well, I can sort of tell you this now, but I'll explain myself a little bit more when we're over there. But somebody that I know is here, and I would like to continue that discussion with them.
Somebody from your previous home?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Did you manage to speak to the people we were waiting for, Dante?
You're muted.
Yes, we've come to a deal. They've given us a list of books that they need, a couple of pages written from the restricted section that we have access to. They then will create us 4 medallions or 4 items for us to be cloaked from any type of divination, and some form of way to prevent for the sword from being scryed upon as well, for 500 gold, which is significantly less than 4,500, which is what their starting figure was.
That's very cheap.
I'd imagine whatever they need in these books is probably pretty bad.
And we're okay with just giving this information over without knowing what it is?
Moonshadow is breathing down his throat, breathing down his neck, because of all the issues after the Doom, before the Doom Hackcraft. He's worried about being expelled. He's nervous that if he was to even be found doing work, he could get kicked out. So I think we could leverage that, or even give him what he's asked for with maybe a word backwards. which would throw off any kind of spell or anything that he would want, depending on the things he's looking for.
Well, has he actually told us what he's looking for? What's the?
Or we'll just hand the bit of paper over.
What does it say?
So they are page numbers and book names. The first one is Veins of Astera, a study of living stone.
Like veins, as in blood veins.
Yeah. And page 352.
Okay.
And the second one is The Last Song of the Hollow Choir.
He said that.
And page
Go on.
115.
Okay.
He said that it would, if we copy these pages, it would help him not have Moonshadow with his Moonshadow problem.
Well, I suppose we can always go and look at the information and then decide whether we want to hand it over.
Equally, we could, like I said, we could sabotage it ourselves, or even get what we want and tell Moonshadow afterwards.
Okay.
But it's a good route for us to protect ourselves against, because we have to remember this kid is just a student. He's not going to be the next Voldemort.
Who?
Yeah.
He was this warlock that got far too big for his boots and made deals. Split himself multiple times. Weird guy. Likes snakes.
I mean, I like snakes.
Yeah, but you don't tend to slither in and then leave straight afterwards.
I'm gonna start doing damage again, I think. I'm at that point.
I feel like that just kind of egged me on a bit. Like,
Yeah, it did.
But it made me feel better though.
It made me feel good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I will pocket the note, and then I'll say back to Volu. Well, it sounds like we have as much time as you'd like. Then
Let's grab 5 drinks and we'll head over.
okay.
she's round now.
I agree.
Yeah, sure. Each will grab a round of beers and another set of the 4 shots.
Okay. So just one of each, or like what Dante got, the like full spread.
But
To
the
be
full
fair,
spread.
you've still got some, because you did one of each of them, and he bought so he got.
I thought he'd given the other 3 away.
Yeah, I thought I only got 7 shots, but
You bought 7 paddles worth of shots.
oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely would have given a couple of paddles.
I assume you give some away, but there's tons, is what I mean.
Oh,
but
wow.
basically, you got 4 of each shot.
Can we mix them together and do them in one?
Oh dear.
No, that sounds bad.
Ooh.
Dante's doing it.
Which 2 are you mixing? And make me a sleight of hand check, please.
Make me a what?
Sleight of hand. Which 2, and then a sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand, I get a +5. 8.
Which 2 are you mixing?
I'm mixing all 4 of them.
In which order?
Oh.
Oh dear.
I am going to do creepy wavy thing with stoner deep voice. Then I'm going for sparkly Goldschlager, ending with explosive hands.
So you get about as far as the 3rd one, and there is like people in the room going like, ooh. It's almost like some people have tried to do this before.
Hmm.
Does
And yeah,
anyone take a big step back?
Yeah, quite a few people. As you sort of, so you mix the gloopy one with the deep voice one, and that sort of, it doesn't quite mix. It's like you put like oil into, but it's like one of them's more like almost like a custardy consistency that sort of slips in and it just displaces a bunch of it, and you spill some. The top of your hand is just the top of your hand is doing the wavy bit where it spilled on you just now with that sleight of hand aid. And then as you put the gold slagery one in, it just fires up into your face. Can you dex save for me?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. 19. No, sorry, wrong one. 23.
Okay, so you just duck back, and the ceiling is sprayed with the contents of the shot glass. And then as it sort of drips down, where it hit is just sparkling, but like almost disco ball too bright to look at. That would have like just turned your head and face into a disco ball. But
Is it now raining kind of stars?
yeah.
I am standing underneath it dancing.
And there is a cheer, even though like they were hoping for disco ball head, but the dodge was good.
We all hope for disco ball head.
That could be really like weird out of context.
Thank you.
God damn it! So they weren't even thinking about that.
To be fair, I feel like Paul we should have said that one.
Not funnily enough, I can restrain myself at times.
Whatever you into.
God damn it!
I go and take the 5 drinks now that Dante's finished dancing, and let's go head over to where we're meant to, please.
Okay. You head over towards the booth. Everyone going with?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're all
So,
invited.
Lenny, you would recognise obviously the Furbolg from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That is, for your insight, looking a little nervous, but trying not to show it, and sitting in quite a nonchalant, laid-back pose with a drink, and as Volu.
And this is Eleni, Ichi, and Fireboy Dante.
You have a new look. Suits you. I recognise the rest of you from your exploits in the Doom Hacker. Very interesting, by the way. Please, I have some things I need to tell our friend here, and we need privacy. But you are welcome if he says you are.
They are.
Are you sure, Volley? We can leave you if you'd like.
No. This
Okay.
this may help us with other things as well. I'm thinking,
Okay.
and then I'll hand the drink over to Kanda.
They will motion for you to all step in, and as you step in, they would again close the curtains, and you would all sort of experience that like of ceiling silence that sort of separates you from the rest of the space. Now, firstly, I do not know what you already know of Volu and his past. For Eleni, they're talking to all of you, but their eyes are fixed on Volu, and they are like trying to read him.
Okay.
Like, and it gauges reaction to the words.
I'm not going to offer anything up at all.
You sent a message, or Volu sent a message to our foster mother, I suppose. Yeah, that is the closest approximation in your world. As I say it, I lived in her garden for a while.
She is to me. There is no foster. She is just my mother. Dryad halfling. It's just mother to me.
See, yes. So that is the first thing. Things are progressing. So our mother Tanabori is part of a much larger Fey faction that, along with some others, were affected by this plane's affliction. From Volu, I think you have encountered it. The red ichor.
Dante's eyes dart to some of the other guys, just to anyone who would catch his eye.
I would catch his eye.
His face drops.
None of it. Well, I do not know how much you were able to glean from your rider. What do they call it when you've not hitchhiked? Stowaway. That's what I was trying to say. And they're talking to Dante there, like, I don't know what you've
Dante's
gleaned from
aware, and he's
your stowaway, but and the rest of you I don't think are old enough. This corruption, it is not the first time that we have experienced it. The first time was long, long ago, even before I believe there is an event. I read about it recently. It's what I was originally sent here for, to make sure I learned and understood the histories, but also to be a proxy between yourself and Tanabori. I believe when the goddess Laritza blew a hole through the planet, well, that wound didn't heal, from what I gather. It festered and festered and festered, and bits of it started to leak through. In an attempt to protect your world, Laritza shifted the corruption. What she thought was a harmless shift into another plane destroyed. I mean, I can only speak for the Fae, but we lost 5 cities to that infection. The wastelands, Volu, where we do not go. They were burnt. They had to be.
That would be from the Brass City, I suspect.
Well, they suffered a little bit differently to us. As you might have encountered, the corruption acts differently inside different hosts. Inside the Fae, it is suffering. Our forms fall apart. We are unable to hold ourselves. You cannot walk, you cannot feed, you cannot do anything, just roll around in agony. For the fire Ganassi and those of the fire plane, it inflames them, makes them more aggressive to the point that they explode. I am talking leveling buildings explosions here. Again, I do not know the extent of their loss, but they had to take up measures. And when we first made contact with them, they were killing their infected before they could explode. It was Tanabori that noticed that the corpses that we encountered from the fire plane were no longer infected. And when, through some testing, found that they could not be infected again. I do not know the ins and outs of it, but they devised a method. Once we did, we were contacted by a third. On the plains of Celestia, they also were afflicted. And again, in those of celestial nature, it is not fun what happens to them. They become embodiments of darkness. Tanabori theorizes that the corruption makes us the opposite of what we truly are. For the Fae, we are free and unbound, and we become unable to move and shift or go anywhere. I do not know that it fits with the fire plane, though Tanabori says many of them have utter control and domain over their fire, that them losing control and exploding under their own heat is opposition enough.
Did you have any others?
That is all.
Fire makes sense. Most people assume just because it's fire, it's dangerous, it's deadly. But fire is also warmth. It's life. So the build of that to cataclysm, it's self-immolating, it cuts itself out.
There is a second step, which Tanabori has asked me to instruct you on. In the forest just south of here, wait, let me check that.
Well, one we walked
Where
through,
we came from.
Yeah.
where I came out.
No, sorry, in the lake just southeast from here.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Is that where the tower was?
No.
Not the lake, no.
No. The lakes, if you look on the map that I think you should be on
Lake Sif.
the
Yeah.
Versal map. Yeah, Lake Sif. So Lake Sig. I think
It's
it is.
Sif.
Is it Sif?
It's an F.
All right, yeah. Yeah.
There will be a portal that will be set up for you. You must every member of the elementals that wished to learn this ability also were soaked in a pool under certain conditions. We can arrange those conditions on the Feywild.
Is it only Dante who can help? There are others
I mean,
here. I mean, I'm thinking about the priests, right, and the people in the temple. There are others here who may wish to help.
That brings me on to the second issue. Tanabori, well, let's start at the beginning. The factions 3 came to the conclusion that there was no cure and that the best and safest method for removing an infection for which there is no cure is to cut it out.
Got it.
Sever the material, well, sever Astera from the cosmic wheel.
That was the words that he used.
What does that mean?
They created an item, an artifact, something that could quite literally slice Astera into its own pocket realm. Sever, we would lose some of the Feywild, but our leaders determined that we were already losing quite a lot of it anyway, and at least what we would have would be safe. Lyrics interfered, stole the item. It has been many years and we have not been able to succeed. However, Tanabori and some others are working to undermine this plan. They do not want to sever away the world and feel there is potentially some way to cure it, maybe here on the material plane. But the other factions do not want to risk it.
They have to. So you go ahead.
But we have seen people cured. We just don't have enough people to provide the cure.
I do not understand the intrinsic izities of it. Tanabori, the Celestials, one of the reasons they were so capable in dealing with their crisis is their capability for divination. They foresee quite a lot. They would definitely see many mortals moving against an action. Even moving to cure it, they might speed things up or suspect, and
But why can we not persuade them?
you can, but we cannot take them to the Feywild and soak them in the waters necessary to allow them to cure. You understand? Any elemental from the plane of fire can burn the infection. I cannot give you without alerting people.
I've got so many questions.
And unfortunately, I don't have a great deal of time to answer them.
I have two I would like, if I may.
And I have one.
I wonder if one of ours is the same. Where do the Irish Knights fit into this? And he's going to look over at Ichi.
You would see they look quite sorrowful. Innocence cast in the way. I'm not going to lie to you, I am not a fan of your Laritza. They were naive, young and impetuous god that pushed their way in with no checking of who else was here, messed with the environment and the world, and anyway, when they took the item, from what we know, they broke it and hid it. When we went searching, wherever we went searching, we would encounter the knights, the watchers, the Iris Knights, whatever name they went by. There was many and different factions. They never acted the same. For the most part, they were diplomatic, but also had no knowledge of any of it. While quite desperate, a knight was kidnapped, and through mental magic was searched for what they knew. Their entire order believes that they protect the world from elementals and alter beings from other planes that give them hostile intent. But they also happen to build their forts in the location radiating the auras of our items.
This leads to my second question. Fireplane, Fey, Celestial. We were in a place with an item that Tenebris wanted more than anything.
The eyes wide.
And all three of those beings, in particular when I was him, had severe resistance.
You can see almost like things clicking into place. As I was telling Volu, they sent a message to Tanabori, who cannot answer right now. The entire faction is up in arms. We have had emissaries from the Fire Plane and emissaries from the Celestial Plane in the Feywild, I think because of this.
I think that we have found a part of this weapon to cut. It is what he was sent for.
And that is why Tanabori cannot speak to you directly, Volu.
You say that you can't lend us anyone with the ability to help cleanse the infection without drawing attention. What other, so obviously we know the fire, what other confirmed ways are there of dealing with the infection from the other planes?
There is none.
It is just the fire.
The Celestials took to killing their infected, and trust me, we had one turn while we were at a meeting. It took a good 7 of us to take him down, and even then, the Celestials healing us the entire time. They stay the furthest away from all of it. They pretty much watch from above, from their celestial high point. And I'll be honest, from what I have heard from Tanabori, it is less of a no and more of a chance game. We could lend you people, but what if one of those people gains the attention of one of the Celestials who looks down upon and finds you? And at the moment, and this only really applies to Volu, but at the moment, Volu is the current leading strategy to undermine what is going on.
Then this brings me to my question. Would it be beneficial to gain, well, rather than drawing attention through direct help, but indirect help? What if a deal was made?
It would have to be some hell of a deal. Lyrics are tried in the past. They came with negotiations, an offer of help, and
I mean more individual. What if, hypothetically, I became a warlock to someone? Would their boon be of aid in the way that they can help indirectly without causing necessary any direct intervention? I would be acting through my own will, using abilities.
it would be hard to engineer. We will think about it.
Just as a possibility.
Would it not be easier, or well, not easier, but if this is magic, are there no magic items, enchantments that can produce this kind of fire?
There are potentially items that could enhance Dante's capability,
Okay.
but unfortunately, the ability to cure it seems to stem from the fire plane itself. Tests we have done with fire ganassi from this plane, their fire does not cure it either.
Ah, okay.
It is something about the heat, the true nature of the fire from the fire plane that is able to counteract it. I honestly, I wish we knew more. And
So my last question was going to be, we've had infections in the Fae, in the fire plane, and the celestial plane. Is this the first time that the material plane has been affected?
from what we think, the infections were pushed to us by Lyrics as protections. We think the infection originates here,
Right.
and that in the beginning, Lyrixa was, again, the way my Tanabori and many of the elders talk about Lyrixa is that she did things without thinking, without checking, without talking to anybody. And in a panic, when finding this corruption, just shifted it to another plane.
But it's come back.
I don't think it's ever left. I think it's just been slowly growing.
What would happen if one of these artifacts were to be infected themselves?
I do not know.
Is that something that could be a danger? Or is that something that would just remove the issue of the
I'll
item?
be honest, I do not know enough about it to speculate. Mine and Tanabori's main concern is that now that the corruption is growing once more here, it is once again beginning to leak through. Not in the same speed as before, because it is not being helped along, but those old links, I don't know. Again, I know you have seen the infection. Those links are still usable to it. Last time it got really bad, and they do sort of shift again, a sort of sorrowful glance over towards Ichi. I'm afraid the last time we were this desperate, your fort took the brunt of it. We learned that in the depths of Fort Augur, we believe there is a peace. What we were not ready for was the sheer will and determination of your order to prevent us from getting it. I want to be clear to you, young knights. I know I am asking a lot, but it was not us that destroyed your forts. That seemed some defense mechanism. Collapsed in on itself, took many of our own with it.
Understandable. I can't imagine they make things easier. But perhaps with my connections I could get in. Maybe I could get it out.
But hang on a minute. So, sorry, to recap. There is this infection. It has happened before. The only way we can heal it is with the elemental fire from the fire plane. Yes.
Yes.
That is how we would heal it. Other people want to cut us off and abandon us to the infection, but at least the infection wouldn't spread any further. Yes?
Yes.
And the way they want to do that is with these pieces of this item that Lavixa stole and broke and spread across the world.
Well, they have many other theories, but that is the only one with any
And
gravitas.
And we also think that the Iris Knights built their forts over these items where they'd found them.
Right, I misunderstood.
To protect the items from being put back together?
We are not sure. As I said, when we interrogated knights, they truly believe that they were just placed here to protect Astera from all planar threats.
Yes.
Down to their core, they believe that.
So we don't want this item to be put back together.
No, that will separate Astera from everything else. My apologies, I misunderstood.
And to be clear, neither does Tanabori.
But
they must be careful. They are very intertwined. It was when your fort was attacked and they became more desperate that more of the factions began to shift their belief, and by then it is quite late.
And we can enhance Dante's healing abilities with his immersion in this water.
As I said, we have a ritual. I would be able to meet you there.
Dante's going to look over to Vola, who's been quiet throughout all of this. Just remind me, does Dante knows about the modified memory thing, or does he? I can't remember how much he shared with him.
He knows he's looking for a way to recover. Well, he's asked about recovering.
I don't think you know about the memory itself, do you? Just that.
No. But do I know? Did we say who said it? Who made it? Who happened to have it? Or did you just say You're recovering memory. I can't remember.
I don't remember having
I don't.
a lot
I
of
was,
detail.
I was starting to remember things, and I'm pretty sure that more is hidden from me.
Dante will look over to Volu and go, "Do you trust them?" Just to throw it, also throw out there, I rolled an insight because I was wanting to ask Liam, can I insight if this person is like what side of the bread is buttered kind of thing on this instance? An unnatural one. So
Fair enough.
Yup.
Yeah, very, very stonewalled. Even at the very open ask of, do you trust them?
well, no, that's why I'm asking Volu.
Yeah, but so they don't react to that at all or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no thought to it.
Kanda. When did this faction start?
Oh, what is? How long ago? They sort of looked at Ichi a little bit. How long ago in your plane did Lurixa do all those things?
Did it start before I?
Oh yes. Wait.
arrived?
You're again. You would see a very sheepishness, like. But for Volu and Eleni, it's like embarrassed. Like they knew and didn't do anything rather than they were the culprit, if that makes sense. Yes, Volu. You came much later.
Did I arrive for a reason?
Yes.
Is that why other halflings also were taken?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It is not my favorite strategy, but one that works. It confuses divination. We raised you all identically. Used the same magics. You all have the same memories. You are hard to follow. You get lost very easily. And we need trusted people that get lost. I'm sorry, I had to lie to you.
Not just you who's lied to me. I've been sat with this weight in my stomach, having a feeling that what I had wasn't genuine, and you have confirmed that.
I know it won't make much difference, Volu, but if it helps, you are not the plan. You are the only one raised differently. We grew too attached. You were too curious. Tanabori and I do care for you, Volu. That is why we did not release you when we released the others. But then Tanabori became sick. And people started asking about you, where you came from. You were never supposed to be seen with Tanabori.
I volunteered. I volunteered to go and see, to go and help.
Dante's body starts to kind of not what's the word? It's like a reaction, something you don't have control over.
Like convulse.
Yeah, but kind of flames start to kind of prick up on him. And starts to get anger in his eyes as he's staring now between Volo and this other person.
If I see that, I would look at Dante and say, this is not the time or place. This is not your...
No. Like,
Yeah, she would just say, this is not for you to be angry about.
yeah, and he will nod. He'll just,
Mm.
he will sit there.
It is a lot. Sorry, go on.
You say that I'm one of. You just want me to continue wandering and get lost? That's my mission.
You already kind of did. And look what you found. That is the thing with Aldi, when you get lost, you find so much. Without even intending to. I know it is a lot to ask of you. But no one else has got this far. I mean, when you told me that you were with an elemental, I was mind blown. Most of the other halflings are farmers, priests, helping people, but I mean, it helps us. That is what a lot of the divination will show you. I fear that if nothing is done, even if they do not cut Astera away, what I have seen already, your world will succumb to this corruption. You are not prepared to fight it. You do not have the capabilities.
I'll pull out a few of the twisted mangrove leaves that I've collected. I would slide them over to the table and go, if this isn't too much to ask, please take these back to Tonobori. I'd like her to know that I'm okay. That I know. That I'd like to know more. And I'm trying to understand.
We can organise that, Tony. She was not sure if you knew yet, and I was not sure either. The last time we spoke, you didn't seem aware of anything.
Times change.
If I will leave you to talk and think. If you wish to join and meet me at Lake Sif, just send me a message. I will meet you there. And they will then shift and turn invisible, and you would see the curtain slide and shift, leaving you in silence.
Dante will do a big spin around of things just to be like, make sure he's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Volu and just say, I've been doing some meditating, and I had some visions at the temple with the help of Arcanair and my moths and various other things. And one of those visions had you in it, Volu. And the message that I was given was that I had to choose a path. But whichever path I chose, as long as you were there, that it was the right one. That somehow it almost didn't matter which path I picked as long as it was the one that you were on. And that would be the right one to be on. I didn't want to mention visions in front of your friend. But I don't know if that helps or not. That it might seem strange to be told to go out and get lost, but it seems important.
Dante will slide around to the booth, and to the booth more now facing towards Volu. I apologize for losing my cool. I still do not have control over this body.
No, I appreciate that. That was just a lot to take in, and
I want you to know, as before, your choices are always your own, and you will not be made to be some pawn in another being's game. And any route you choose, I will be there to defend it.
thank you.
You have my sword.
No,
You have my bow.
a Lenny has your sword.
Fantastic.
But yeah, and with that moment, we'll leave us there for this week's episode. Thank you very much for playing, and thank you very much for watching as always. If you're enjoying the event so far and want to find out what's going to happen next, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you know when the videos are coming out. And as always, roll well. Bye.